What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I am leaving today. I'm actually going to another city. So this is the last time you guys will see this view from Barranquilla. So I'm still going to be in Colombia, but I'm just going to go to a different location. And had a real good time here. Enjoyed myself. I was here for a month, so obviously it was good for me to be here, or I would have left a long time ago. But that's not the discussion that I want to have today. I want to talk about a couple of things that are going on. I saw another state that will be that will be delivering stimulus checks, and that state is the state of Maine. So we're going to talk a little bit about those details. And I always tell you guys, when it comes down to these different states issuing out stimulus checks, the good thing is states are taking it upon themselves to do this. Okay, the federal government looks like they've moved away from stimulus checks, and it looks like the states, because these states have surpluses, and I'll talk a little bit about the surpluses and why that is, because they have these surpluses, they're starting to issue out these stimulus checks because they know that the stimulus checks are popular among people. So we're going to talk about that. I also want to talk about the issue, the crisis, the rent crisis. Okay, so we're looking at a situation right now where rent is just continuing to rise, and it's at the worst time. I mean, we're looking at inflation. Everything costs more, and now we're seeing it in the housing market. We've seen it in the housing market for a while. Let's be honest. I mean, I bought a house last year, and I paid a lot more for that house last year than I would have paid 5 years ago. So we're going to talk about that as well. But first off, on this channel, we talk about financial news and what's going on in Washington, D.C. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so let's talk about the stimulus checks first. So as I stated, Maine will be issuing out stimulus checks, I think sometime in June. And it's going to be $850 per tax filer. So if you're a joint filers, that's going to be $1,700. If you are head of household and you make less than $150,000, you qualify. If you are a single filer and you make less than $100,000, you qualify. And for joint filers, if you guys make less than $200,000, then you'll qualify. So those are the requirements that they're looking at right now, and they will be issuing out these stimulus checks. Now, we'll have to see if other states start doing the same thing. I think a lot of it has to do with what's going on right now when it comes to gas prices as well as inflation. I think states are realizing, hey, we need to do something. We have a surplus. And the reason that they have a surplus is every state has to balance their budget every year. Okay? So when it comes to the federal government, they don't have to balance the budget every year. And that's why we're looking at these huge numbers when it comes to deficit, because they don't have to balance the budget. States have to balance their budget every year, and because they have to balance their budget every year, sometimes they have a surplus, they have extra money. And when they have that extra money, not in every situation, but in a lot of situations, they will offer these different rebates. Okay, so this is nothing new. They're calling it a stimulus check now, but prior to that, they were just calling them rebates. So we'll have to see. Stimulus check is kind of the hot word to use. So we'll have to see in the future if they just go back to rebates, which they probably will. And so that's what Maine is looking at. So congratulations to Maine. They'll be getting stimulus checks in June. So we'll have to see. Watch other states, see what happens with them, see if they're going to offer anything. We've heard different talk about these different rebates, gas rebates, all this stuff. Only one other state that I know of, New Mexico, they are moving forward. But other than that, all the other states, they're just talking about it. They're trying to move it through legislation. But as of right now, we don't have anything concrete. When it comes to Maine, it's already passed. It's already passed. It's been signed off by the governor. So they're just going to wait until June to start sending those out. Okay, the next story I want to talk about is rent. Rent prices are going up. There was a study that was done recently that said that we're looking at an increase. In the last 2 years, we're looking at an increase of 11.3%. And that's huge. And you have some states that are worse off than others. Now, it's kind of interesting because Florida is one of those states that the rent has gone up dramatically, 30-40% in some situations. And the reason for this is because of in the last 2 years, obviously we know the pandemic, and then you have a lot of people who are remote working now. And because they're remote working, they're going to different places of the country. And where do you want to go? If you had your ideal situation, where would you want to move to? You'd want to move to a warmer climate, maybe somewhere by the beach, that kind of stuff. And so that is why a lot of people are moving to Florida. And so if you choose to move to Florida and you have a lot of people moving to Florida, the supply and demand. You have only a certain amount of apartments there. You have a lot of people that want those apartments. The price of those apartments goes up. And so that's what we're looking at right now in Florida and a lot of other states that have that warmer climate where people want to live, to move and live. And so a lot of people, when they think of California, they think it's already too expensive. I want to go somewhere that's more reasonable. They're trying to move out of the big cities and they're trying to move into some smaller areas, smaller cities, where rent is cheaper and they can still have those same luxuries of good weather and things like that. And so rent, I mean, right now it's a real bad situation for a lot of people, and it's only getting worse, and it's only going to get worse. We're looking at a situation where we might go into a recession, okay? The federal government is actually kind of pushing us into a recession. They're trying to slow things down. Inflation is just way too high, and so you have to do the opposite of what they were doing in the past, of stimulating the economy. Now they're trying to pull back and really trying to slow the economy down, and that could push us into a recession. And so we'll have to see where that goes and follow that. That's very important for a lot of people. We don't want to go in a recession because that means that we'll have more people unemployed. We'll be looking at a situation where everything across the board will suffer. And so with interest rates and everything else, the federal government, the Federal Reserve, they're trying to slow down our economy. It sounds kind of weird, but you have to balance, okay? There has to be a balance. You don't want hyperinflation. You don't want to be in a deep recession where the economy just collapses. So it's a balancing game, and that's what they're trying to do right now. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. I'm getting ready to jump on a plane, and I'll be in my new location. So my next video, you'll see me in a different location. If you guys like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions, post them down below. Subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.